I wanted to go through what we can call the 3 stages to emotional freedom. But I also want to say that they're not stages either. So we're going to be calling them stages for the sake of teaching and talking, but I don't want you to necessarily go out into the world thinking about them as stages. It's very fluid, and we've boiled them down to 3, but it's 1,000, a million, an infinite number, because it's a spectrum. And the other thing is, with these stages, you can be in one stage in one area of your life. You can be fully open, fully loving, fully trusting in your relationship, and then be in another stage when it comes to money. Fearful, gripping, feel lack. You can also be living in a stage in more or less your entire life. Every area of your life. But having this feeling of there's not enough, like you were saying. It's just, I'm so close yet so far. And it's kind of in everything. And that creates this feeling of unease, dissatisfaction, pain. Pain, it hurts our heart to have that feeling of it's just never quite enough. I never quite get it. What am I doing wrong? What do I need to do? Right? So, the first stage is what we would call the needing and the wanting stage. I will be happy when ... fill in the blank. I will be happy when I have a relationship. I will be happy when my partner stops complaining and nagging. I will be happy when my partner gives me more love and more attention. I will be happy when I have more money. I will be happy when I get that job. I will be happy when I move. I will be happy when I lose that weight. I will be happy when? Tell me yours.
You said it all.
No, come on. Come on. These were the general classics.
It's a good start, though.
I will be happy when?
Oh, okay. You want an example?
Yeah, give me some examples.
Yeah.
I will be happy when I finish my PhD, I publish that paper when I'm done with this and I can move on to the next chapter. I used to think like that all the time. I'll be happy when I finish high school. I'll be happy when I'm an adult and I don't have to rely on my parents. I'll be happy when I make my own money. I'll be happy when I finish uni and I can actually choose the work I want to do. I'll be happy when and that continues. So when I publish that paper, what else?
I'll be happy when I'm happy.
I'll be happy when I'm happy. So that one's really tough.
Talk about something that's is circular in nature.
This is how fractals were born.
That's a tough one.
Yeah. Tell me about it.
I'll be happy when I'm happy, though.
So there's
That's
probably a
an infinite
list.
loop, buddy.
Yeah.
But you can enter the loop because if you're not happy in the
What
first
if you're
place.
outside?
Yeah, exactly.
But I think it's the same with eating disorders. It's when you're not happy, then you eat and you get more depressed from eating, so you keep eating more, so it's, yeah.
Just go deeper and deeper and deeper.
Actually, let me touch upon that. Eating disorder, because I brought in the pizza. Right?
Emotional eating.
I don't even like the pizza I ordered.
No!
Did you eat it?
I ate the whole thing.
Wow.
And I dropped off Nadia, and then was on my way home. Said, what? I need something. I worked and I deserve something. Yeah. I think I was hungry actually. In the sense that I wasn't starving, but oh wow, some pizza at this time. It would be nice.
Yeah.
It had nothing to do with food.
No. It's filling that hole, right?
Yeah. But my question is, if you feel that hole, and obviously the bad thing is to do it food. I mean, I do it as well. If I'm stressed, I'm like, blah, blah, blah. So, but I mean, that's not good for you. So what is the right thing to do? Is it to put something else that's good for you? So instead of eating something, you go for a walk, because that's, I don't know, I'm still like, what, because like you said, it's a coping mechanism.
Yeah.
But if you just put something else instead of, then it's still a coping mechanism, and sure, some coping mechanisms are better for you than others, but it's still like, so I'm coping doing this, not to do this, not to do this. I'm thinking
You can keep going.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
you can just keep replacing and replacing and replacing. That's actually where cross addiction comes from, because as I said, I used to work at a rehab, and what we would see often would be the clients would come in and they would give up their drug, let's just say a drug, and then they'd start exercising. And then they'd get the feel-good endorphins from that, and all of a sudden, they were exercising way too much.
Yeah.
And they replaced it with that. So you're completely right, and that is what you would call cross-addiction. But it's basically just replacing one thing with another, and it becomes this endless loop. The answer to that massive question, very, very briefly, is basically, remember what I said about awareness. These patterns are, to a degree, unconscious. To a degree, they're conscious. You're aware that you're ordering it. You're aware that you don't really want this. You're aware, and yet you do it anyway. So there's a space between the awareness and the doing it anyway, where you went unconscious, where there wasn't full awareness, attention, presence. This is hard. This is really, really hard, which is why so many people really struggle with it, even though it's a simple answer. Doing it is really difficult. But it's, in that moment, you don't need anything. If you're not eating, let's just stick with food, if your body isn't hungry and you're not eating because your body needs it, but you're eating for an emotional reason, you don't need the food, which means don't eat. You don't need to do anything else. You just don't eat. And so what do we do in that moment? We sit with all the uncomfortable stuff that's coming up, because what's the food doing? The food is literally suppressing whatever uncomfortable thing was starting to bubble up. And every time we do that, we push it further down. And this is where it actually becomes the classic addiction of then you need more and more and more, because more and more gets pushed down, so you need more to actually keep it down, or more often. And so we become more and more unconscious, because we know that what we're doing. I mean, we've all, well, I don't know, I can't speak for everyone, but I have eaten emotionally as well. I think most people have at one point or another eaten just because it was there, and now I'm just gonna put that in my mouth and not think too much about it, right? All this is unconscious eating. This is one of the really good examples of first stage. So I'll get a little bit more into it, and then we can go back.
I think if we think about, if I analyze why I ordered a pizza anyway, because I was not hungry, like I didn't eat nutrition at 3. But feeling the texture of the pizza against my tongue and just the juices, there's
Now I'm hungry.
Let's order a pizza.
That's an addiction.
I'm getting to something here, because it's the memory that's stored about that.
Yes.
And what I want is comfort, basically. At that point, at 3 o'clock, coming home in the metro, seeing that pizza right there, it wasn't so much the pizza, it was the memory of, because we are not just thinking beings, we're also sentient beings. Like there's a whole spectrum of us that has taste buds and sensory that we need to be fulfilled.
Yep.
Again, it is a need, but it has nothing to do with food. It's a deeper emotion. You want to be connected, and one way to be connected to reality is to use your taste buds. It's a very, very quick reward.
100%. It actually, so pizza is a comfort food. Pizza is a comfort food, and the fat and the sugar in the pizza is awesome. What it actually does is it goes in and it stimulates the brain pathways, the dopamine, the brain pathways, and the reward system the same way that cocaine does. Sugar and cocaine follow the same path in the brain. And so fat, I was going to say genetically, not genetically, what's the word? Evolutionarily, our bodies are designed to search for and store fat and sugars. Because way back, hunter-gatherers, they didn't know when they were going to get to eat again. So the body evolved to store, and then all of a sudden, life just took off. And all of a sudden, we sit all day long. We don't move at all. We don't have to hunt and gather much further than the supermarket. And our bodies are still made to seek out the fatty, sugary foods, and then it stores it. So our brain is literally wired to and has these receptors and this memory, and then we add in the emotional factor, like you said, we're sentient beings, the comfort food, the memory, that sensation on our tongue, whether it's pizza or cookies or cake or, but it's all those, we don't overeat on carrot sticks and celery, right? Nobody emotionally eats celery, carrot sticks, and lettuce. Ever.
A monk could eat carrot, right? It's high in sugar, isn't it?
Sorry?
Isn't carrot really high in
10%
sugar?
ish.
How much?
10%, and there's also some starch in there.
I mean,
That's
sure.
carbs and salt.
With lime and salt.
Yeah.
That sounds like a tequila addiction, lime and salt.
Yeah, something else.
But that's my point. The foods that we seek out, the reason is because our brain identifies and knows, and it gives the same chemical reward as we all know from classic drug addiction, right? So we're actually working against our own biology here. It's not easy. It's really not easy. And then we add in, I don't know if you saw someone walking with a pizza or if you just saw an ad.
I saw a lot of people wanting, stumbling towards the pizza.
Oh, it was three in the morning.
It's like
Okay.
the 3 o'clock zombiness.
Right,
you
okay.
know? Oh, food.
But ads also.
3 at night.
Yeah, 3 in the morning. Ads also target this. So, do you want to say something before I go back to the...
I'm thinking, doesn't it also has something to do when our, body memory or something from when we were babies and we were safe and we were being breastfed and that whole being happy and being safe and
Yeah.
exactly. So that's why we have that oral need.
I think you're
Totally.
more right.
Totally.
Than you know.
Totally.
For
Yeah,
me,
yeah.
at least, food, I don't know why I brought it up, but there's a strong link to comfort and my mom.
Yeah. No, there is. You're
and
totally spot on.
I try to recreate that inner memory of comfort and my mom and the food that she used to make all the time.
Yeah.
It's like you're sort of seeking that again. At least I am.
Yeah. I think
I
that's
just
we
need
all.
a hug from her, but I buy a slice of pizza instead.
Yeah, it's the connection, right? And then we find something
Somewhere
else.
it's there.
Yeah.
That's why I make, sorry.
Go on.
That's why I make so much tortillas as well. I mean, it's my connection to home, to feel, and I think that
There's programs.
my by being abroad, I tried a lot of ways to connect with my family, but they just don't use them as much as I wanted to, and so I have let it go that they're not gonna connect as much as I would want to, and I find other ways of connection to my culture, because it's also part of me, right?
Yeah.
Family as well, so I make food from home to feel that need of
And so, of course, the question also becomes, what's unhealthy and what's healthy? Because we need to eat, right? The body needs to eat. And like we were talking about, replacing one pattern just with another. Or is it actually just finding something that works, right? And this is where it becomes tricky, because something that works right now and is healthy right now The moment it becomes unconscious, then you've lost your presence. And then it's a slippery slope.
There's potential to create havoc for sure.
Yeah. Did you want to?
Yeah. You touched upon the point of rewarding system.
Mm-hmm.
So now, is this also a part of a rewarding system? And another thing is, now to work upon that, now say for example, if I've had a tiring day, I tell myself it's okay to eat cookies because I love cookies and I like chocolate. But recently I changed it to I got a lot of things accomplished today at work, so I'm going to cook food.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a good way to go, or that's also a way that you're putting what you said about shifting the addiction?
Yeah, replacing one with another.
Yes.
You need to cook, right? You need to eat food.
Yes.
So are you making nourishing stuff, yummy stuff, good stuff for you?
Yes. So when I cook,
Okay.
I give it all the time.
So what you've actually done is you have identified the pattern.
Yeah.
And then you could say replaced it, but you've replaced it with something that's good and healthy and nourishing for you.
But that's still a replacement.
Yes, and that's totally okay. Now, if you'd replaced it with cigarettes instead, eat the cookies. Like, who cares?
Okay. Whichever is the better one.
But you've replaced it with something that you need anyway. Because this is the thing I was saying earlier, and I want to go a little bit more into detail.
Yeah.
If you don't actually need to eat, why are you eating? But if you need to eat, eat. Right? So if you come home from work and you're tired and you want that feel good and you cook instead, well, you were going to cook and make dinner anyway. So if you cook and you make dinner and then you've had your dinner and you're like, you know what, I still want a cookie. Have your cookie. But if you come home from work and you go, oh, I'm exhausted, I can't be bothered. Oh, I'm just gonna, and then you eat the whole pack of cookies and then you feel like crap, that's the problem. But you come home, you do something that's good for yourself and you're like, you know what, I still want a cookie. Have the cookie. We're human beings, like we're here to enjoy as well, which is why I say we're not mini Buddhas. We're aiming to become mini Buddhas. What we're doing is we're just bringing in more awareness into our lives.
That's also one of the things with sugar is that if you only eat sugar, you get like this massive insulin response, which causes you to want sugar in like 10 minutes or something again, because it uses all the sugar and then you get insulin that's like way down here. You still have insulin, but your sugar is way down here, and then.
Yeah, so it becomes a physical addiction as well.
Yeah.
Talking about sugar.
And you have that smile again, huh?
No, but so I've helped myself and other people change habits by using sugar in an instrumental way. Let me give you the laydown, how I did that. You buy a pack of gummy bears. You find out a behavior that you want, something positive. And then when you've done it, you take a gummy bear. It's amazing what it can do. It can make you eat really healthy food because dopamine system. You get that little gummy bear as a reward, and doesn't matter how emotionally, spiritually evolved we are. We're physical beings.
Yes, we are.
There's a hardwired system, like this need-want system is hardwired. We need nutrition and we need, evolutionarily, we need sugar and fat. And when we get a little sugar, we're like, yes. So we get more system. It's actually being replaced by something else now. It's being replaced by this ping that the iPhone makes when you get a like on Facebook.
Or whatever it is.
So if you want to change behavior in teenagers, have that sound on your phone whenever they do something right. Let's say make the sound that the light does. It actually can make them unconsciously do more of what you want them to do.
It's literally the same thing as Pavlov did with the
Yes,
dogs, right?
it's
It's even the sound is the same.
literally
Right?
conditioning.
Like, I'm astonished. Like, I know I'm doing this to myself, but on a daily basis, the kind of achievements I've been able to do, just a stupid bag of gummy bears. It's not more than 6 grams or whatever they are, the small one.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a very powerful system.
Yeah.
If you know how to use it.
And if you can control it and not eat the whole bag anyway.
But, yeah. But if you start out with the consciousness about it, then
Yes.
That's a whole I can't get enough satisfaction, right?
yes. So you're absolutely right. It's satisfaction. And it also feels so freaking good. Like, okay, I went for a run, a little gummy bear. Would that make a change? Shouldn't the act be enough in itself? Maybe mentally, maybe for your intellectual thing, but you are a body. So that little gummy bear is worth 10 times all your talking, all your philosophy. Yeah. That gummy bear
It's
just
the
makes
reward.
a difference. So maybe the gummy bear is not the thing. It's actually the dopamine that
It's the reward of it, because it could be a gummy bear, it could be 10 kroner, it could be, you
Yes.
know, like children doing their chores.
Yeah.
It's actually the reward that creates, and that gummy bear, because it's not the sugar. That's not going to give you a kick. I mean, if you actually, you know, eat sugar in your day
But
to
it
day,
triggers the system, right?
it's the reward of it.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to say something to that.
Sorry.
No, that's okay.
Maybe
No, but these are all really, really excellent points, and it goes really well to this first stage of needing and wanting.
So you say that we can't really get rid of one of these habit loops without replacing it.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
Remember
so
what
how
I
do
said
you do
about
that?
awareness.
Okay.
It's the awareness,
So you have to accept that it will hurt.
possibly.
Wow, that went deep.
No, I mean,
Yeah,
but
possibly.
you're right.
for example, I was smoking for a long time, and when I quit, it's extremely difficult to
Yes.
quit, and I still get back to it sometimes.
Yeah.
But I'm not like a smoker on a regular basis. But when I quit, it was insanely difficult. And what I literally had to say is that I will feel like shit for the rest of my life. And I literally had to say it. It's crazy.
No, but you're so spot on, and you've actually achieved something very few people can, because it takes an enormous amount of willpower. And the thing with patterns and addiction and all of this, and I'm going to bring it a little bit more into the like mental, emotional patterns, the thought patterns as well, is your why for doing it has to be bigger than the reward the thing gives you. So obviously, I'm not a smoker, so I have no idea what it feels like, but I've been told like the sensation, the feeling in the body, it relaxes you. It doesn't taste great, but you get over that, and then it just feels great. And then you start associating it with your morning cup of coffee, or it's a social thing, or when you have your beer or your glass of wine in the evening. And it becomes completely enmeshed with all these different things. And so your reason for giving it up, I mean, imagine all the things you're going to lose.
Yeah, I went
Giving
through
that
that
up,
shit.
right?
It's pretty brutal.
So the why, your why for giving it up has to be bigger than the reward of actually continuing to do it. And this is why most people struggle. And I'm going to bring it back to the emotional element, or the thought patterns and the emotions. If I told you that the difference between peace and suffering is a choice, you could choose peace or suffering in this moment, what would you choose? We would all choose peace intellectually. Well, however...
You would still choose the pizza, we know it.
But that's exactly it. But we actually end up choosing suffering most of the time.
I'm just being honest.
No, but you're spot on. We would all
Because I
say...
wouldn't choose it, I would want it.
We would all
But
say
when
we
it
would
comes
choose
down to
it.
My ideal has to remain an ideal.
Your-
My day-to-day tasks.
That's the thing.
So there's a schism here. I think it's maybe my ideals are something that's to strive for. They're not really needing it.
We choose drama.
Hey,
Drama?
Drama in our lives.
that's it.
We imagine we're in a relationship and our partner is having a moment. What do? Do we just walk away? Accept them having their moment fully?
We jump in
Lovingly?
with both feet and
Blindly just dive in there.
Karate move.
Exactly, right? Or someone's having a moment and they poke at us. Because here's the thing, when our partner is having that moment, they don't want to be alone. They want that, right?
Yeah.
So they start poking at us. And what do? We bite. We go in. In that moment, we're choosing the drama. We're choosing the suffering. We're choosing the pain.
But then because if you say suffering and peace, then of course we will say the peace. But if you say, do you want pizza or do you want peace? Then yeah, if it's like disguised. You're not really seeing like.
That's why I use the word suffering, which is so big. I mean, I wouldn't say that I suffer. My life is great. That does not mean I don't have moments where actually, yeah, I am suffering. Because every moment where I'm not fully aligned with my heart, with my truth, loving myself, loving the world, I'm suffering. It might be this big, but there's suffering in there. Every time I'm judging, projecting, blaming, in fear, every time I'm thinking about, something that happened in the past and it hurt me, or every time I'm anxious about the future, there's suffering. It's tiny, but I use this really big word for you guys to actually start noticing that just this little moment of discomfort is actually suffering. And so the pizza, yeah, it's yummy, but I love pizza. I mean, I eat really healthy.
I'm so sorry, guys.
No, but it's great. It's great because it fits so well.
You even drew one on the table.
I even drew the pizza. I eat very, very healthy, and then I eat also very, very unhealthy. I'm the two extremes because I truly love healthy food because I love the way it makes me feel. I love the taste. I would never comfort eat on carrot sticks, but I definitely eat carrot sticks and celery sticks as a snack, and I fully enjoy it. When I'm having a down day, depending on how mindful I'm willing to be, because at this point in my life now, it's choice. And there are days when I just go, fuck it. Screw it, I'm gonna go all out, and I'm just gonna have all the things. And then there are other days when I'm like, I'm having a really bad day. But unfortunately, right now, I also have enough awareness to know that if I go there, I'm gonna feel even worse. So I'll compromise with myself. I'll have a little something, and then I'll make the food like you said, right? It all depends on the level of awareness that we have. So what this workshop and everything that I teach, basically everything that I stand for in the world, is bringing more awareness into our lives. Noticing our patterns, because when we bring them into awareness, we have a choice. There's no right or wrong choice. But as long as you have the awareness, it's your choice. And you can choose to go into the suffering with your eyes open and embrace it. I'm here for all of it. Give me the pizza. Give me the whatever.
But see, this is the thing. For me, it's not suffering. Like I'm fully aware that this is crap. I'm just fulfilling a very physical need. So when you say suffering, right? I understand. I use the word myself. Suffering. I think the word in our minds creates way bigger connotation than what we're referring to.
But I actually do that on purpose.
Yeah, I understand. But what you're talking about is the gap between, when you're a little brat that you don't get your will. That's the type of suffering.
Yeah.
On a micro scale, on a nano scale.
Exactly. Right? That's why I use the word suffering, because right now most people are unconscious. They don't realize that the 3 a.m. pizza isn't actually, you can have it. There's nothing wrong with that. But it's coming from a place that isn't fully connected with yourself. There's something else there. And in that moment, rather than look at that, why am I up at 3 a.m? Rather than actually look at that and do the work to change that, it's easier to just that little Band-Aid. And it's okay. It's totally okay.
Mm.
But how many band-aids are we going to keep putting on
It's
before
about
we
being
look at
aware
it?
about it, right? Like,
Exactly, which
because
is
I
why,
have eaten it and then just forgot about it.
exactly.
But I'm quite aware. I cook myself every day. I cook healthy.
Which is what I said to Yogesh about you come home, you eat the food, you still want a cookie? Have the
Yeah.
cookie, have the pizza, right?
Yeah.
Enjoy life, we're here to enjoy. This isn't punishment,
Uh,
right? Well, but enjoy it, have it. But do it with awareness, with consciousness. Because the moment we just do it asleep, unconsciously,
Yes.
that's when it
correct.
becomes that snowball.
You said the thing about like we do this to, I don't want to say cover it up, but put a lid on it and put a lid on. So I had this goal for a long time that I would want to feel my feelings. And the problem is when you say that to people, they can't like looking at you like insane. But I think that is actually the cure in some way, to actually just open that can of worms and just be like, okay, what do you got? Let it rip.
Yep. You clear it out. Imagine a faucet of an old house that hasn't been used. You open it and it runs gross. The water is murky, gross. It probably even smells and pieces of whatever come through. It's gross. But you let it run, and if you let it run for long enough, it becomes clear. Drinking water in some countries. But it becomes clear. It's the exact same thing with our emotions. We've been trained to push it all down. So when we open that can of worms, it's ugly and it's gross. But if we do it long enough, we get to the place where we cry for 90 seconds. Because we don't attach to the emotion, we don't attach a story to the emotion. It just, the emotion bubbles up, and actually a feeling, an emotion lasts for 90 seconds max. And then it's done. Like if you really, truly, you feel grief, you want to cry, or you feel rage and you want to cry, whatever. You want to cry, you cry, and you don't attach any story to it, any explanation, any justification or apology or anything. You ugly cry, and then it's done. Bam. Cleared out of the system.
Credit.
But right now, because most of us don't do that, you open up the faucet and everything comes out. And then we get scared, and then we pull it back in. Which is why we end up in this I want and I need, and I'm out here all the time because I have all this stuff in here that's blocking me from actually feeling myself, feeling my truth, feeling what's right for me. I can't actually feel myself. And this is for me the whole point of Coffee Talks. For me, the intention was we come and we share, but we go deep, sometimes deeper than other times, but we go deep so that we can actually get to know ourselves, find some ways in there, learn something new about ourselves, connect a little bit, because there's no way you can connect with someone else if you're not connected with yourself. If you're not in a relationship with you, what are you doing in a relationship with another person? Whether it's a friendship or romantic or something else. If you're not actually in a loving, healthy relationship with you, what are you doing looking out here? And that's what applies to everything that, like the first stage of, I can't say if you're not eating healthy, nourishing food, what are you doing eating because we need to eat? But my point is that this first stage, the stages apply to every area of life. So whether it's money or relationships or sex or professional or health, food, it's these stages of awareness and why am I doing what I'm doing? Why am I having sex? Is it to fulfill my need? My biological need for release, for pleasure, me, my need? Why am I having sex with someone else then? If it's all about me and my needs, I want and I need, why am I having sex with this other poor person? Right?
I love that you added poor.
Made it so much better.
Well, because it's not going to be great for them. But now I do need to say this. If you're in a first stage, you are most likely also attracting first stage experiences. So if you're in a I want and I need for me, you're going to be attracting someone who's in that same mentality, vibrational state as you, which is where we get these messy relationships. Or I want and I need more money. You probably have a messy relationship with money. Money comes and goes. Faithful, unfaithful lover can never quite count on it. Sometimes it's there, sometimes it's not, right? Because whatever it is that how you're interacting with the thing also determines the experience that you have with it.
Yeah, it's quite infantile.
Yeah. And what I also do need to say is in order to move from one stage to the other, we have to have fulfilled the basic needs of that stage. So we all start out in the first stage because we're all children, and then we physically grow into adults. But like Danny mentioned, not everyone grows up internally as well. So the first stage is all about taking responsibility for where I'm at, how I'm acting, how I'm behaving, and that's what really requires a lot of awareness. Am I blaming? Am I looking outside of myself for the answers or for fulfillment? Which is why I said, if you're eating just for the sake of eating or to fill a hole, the best answer is to take that time out and go in and go, what is it that I'm not willing to feel? And that applies to drinking or watching TV. I've created this new rule for myself, and I have to admit I'm not great, but I have Netflix and I have something called Gaia, which is like a spiritual platform thing, and it's great. It's just not great if you're in a bad mood or if you're exhausted or if, because it's kind of quite intellectual. So I've promised myself that it has to be a balance between the two. And sometimes I can watch the other. Like sometimes I can watch Netflix, but I reserve that for the times when I really am exhausted. If I'm just physically tired but my brain is still functioning quite well, Gaia. But if I'm having one of those days or I've worked all day or whatever and I really just want to like KO on the couch, I can watch Netflix. I can have the cookie, I can have the pizza, right? We can enjoy, but it's with a level of awareness. So the first stage is basically about waking up to ourselves in these patterns. I want and I need you to do this for me. How much do I have to give in order for me to get? Now, we don't think like this necessarily in our friendships, consciously, but unconsciously there might be this little bargaining of, oh, well, if I'm there for her enough, she'll be there for me when, right? Or if I do this enough, then the person will also return this favor. They'll owe me, right?
That's just a second order I need.
Sorry?
That's just a second order of I need.
Yeah. It's how much do I have to give in order for me to get?
Yeah.
And we all do it. Don't tell me you don't. We all do it.
Oh my gosh. Sorry.
How much do I do it?
I just realized something. Oh, yeah.
Me too.
How
Good.
you, this second order needs, how, oh my god.
You created a monster.
No, but it's just very clear that a lot of my emotional constructs are that. Yes, so there's still some very basic need I want, but there's more of these semi-convoluted projections of future rewards. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But can't there ever be like, I'm giving something without the expectation of...
That's stage 3.
Oh.
Totally. I'm a little bit mindful of the time. It's nearly 12. Time clearly flies when you're having fun. I do want to get to the coaching portion of it, and I don't want to rush it too much. But I also do want us to get through this. Yes, that's level 3.
Can you switch between, can you go
Yes,
like...
that's what I said earlier.
Oh.
So there are moments in time. You can be experiencing one in one area of your life and one in another area. And you can also have moments of back and forth. So I posted this workshop super last minute, which kind of feels like story of my life to a degree as well. But it was also finding the location and all of that and Corona. And my mom was like, you can't do it. And I was like, no, I can't. Like, I need to figure out. And it turns out you totally can. But I had a thought of like, my God, what if nobody shows up? Like, what if nobody shows up? And I've planned this and I'm excited about it and I've paid for the venue. Oh my God, what if nobody shows up? I'm in a first stage, right? Because I'm in fear. And then I was like, so what if no one shows up? Because I want to do this. This is me giving my gift to the world. Now, if nobody shows up, I might need to reevaluate how and what gift I'm giving. But it's not about anybody else. It's about, right. But the point is just like, I need to reevaluate something in order to keep giving the gift. It's a shame if nobody wants to receive the gift I have to give, but there are many artists who did not get recognition till after they died. And they just continued gifting to the world without needing anything, right? So that's the third stage. So basically, just to sum up, the first stage is, I want and I need. I need you to give something or do something for me so that I can be happy. It's conditional. How much do I have to give so that I can get what I want? When do I get mine? You need to change. You need to change this because it's bothering me. Right? We have all these conditions for the world, and that's actually what creates the suffering. So that's the first stage. The second stage becomes some me, some you. We've now evolved a little bit, and we are more balanced. I can't write and talk at the same time. Right? But it's the tit for tat, it's the equality, it's the relationship where we're equals, right? We can really see this in like first stage old style relationships where she's at home and he works, right? My needs are to be provided for. My needs are to feel like the big strong man. We complement each other, but we're stuck in that relationship dynamic. We've then evolved into we're equals. You do some, I do some. We split. It's a lot more harmony. And in terms of what we're talking about, it's personal development. Here there's very little development, it's just my needs. In the next stage, it's my personal development. And it's what I was saying earlier about the paradox between the third stage of we're perfect as we are, everything is perfect as it is, and then the second stage of growing, evolving. And so the second stage in terms of food would be I eat healthy, I eat organic, maybe I even grow my own food. Maybe I'm part of a co-op where we co-grow, co-share, right? We're in this together. I've got mine and you've got yours, but we can come together and we can share. We talked about the relationship. So it's this feeling of some me and some you. And together, we can be together, but we're also very independent. First stage is codependency. I need you to make me happy. Second stage, I make me happy, you make you happy, we can hang out. Both of us happy, individually, we can now hang out, it's all good. Right? That's the second stage. In order to grow out of the first stage, we need to have our basic needs met. So if you live in a war-torn country, you're not going to move out of the first stage because your needs for safety, for food, basic needs are not met. That's just the reality. So again, none of these stages, it's not about judging. It's just, it is what it is until it isn't. So for some of us, we actually have the choice, but sometimes we don't have the choice. So first stage, basic needs have to be met. Safety, security, we have to feel love, all of that. Otherwise, we're going to keep trying to grip for it. We're going to keep trying to manipulate and get it one way or another. In the second stage, we have got what we need. I've got food. I've got access to food. Now I have the choice of what food am I eating. I can choose to eat organic. I can choose to grow my own food. I can choose what I cook. personal development. I'm going to become a better person so that my partner might want to spend more time with me. We do these things to improve, and then we reach this point of, I've now improved so much, now what? There's only so much more improving I could do in this area, or I realize I could keep improving forever and nothing's actually going to change. So if we take a relationship where it's good, he or she is great, something's still missing, but the person is loving me as much as they can. It's good, but something is still missing. Then what?
The person loves me the way she understands love. I love her the way I understand love. And we both, our understanding of love is on two different tangents.
Yeah.
It doesn't make.
No.
It's not necessarily you're in the same spot. You're in a place where you're in stage 2, for example, and the other person also sort of is, but there's areas of their lives that are very much need-want.
For example, it could be.
Yeah.
It could be, but let's say we're talking about this great
Okay,
relationship.
2 people on
It's great.
stage 2 and
Yeah, we're both in stage 2. It's great. It's really good.
Will you ever get rid of the need want?
Sometimes no. That depends on you.
Can a situation have both the free that I give without expecting something in return and then also have a one?
No. If it's in the same.
For example, I like to do volunteer work, and it's giving something without the expectation of getting something in return, but it gives me that in return that I feel good about myself because I do something for others. So I feel like it's a free because I give without expecting to get something, but at the same time it's like I'm doing this because it makes me feel good.
Yeah, but it's not the wanting. Like, it's the energetics of it is different. Because you're coming from this pure place, there's an automatic reward. It's the more we give, the more we actually get. But it's not contingent, like it's not dependent on that. However, if the moment you do it from wanting, you've dropped in awareness into the first stage.
Okay.
And there are days when you might be doing it because you are abundant and overflowing. And then there are days when you really don't want to go, because that's how I felt when I volunteered. There were days when I loved it, and then there were days when I was super resentful that I'd said yes.
yeah.
In that case, you've dropped into, I want to get something. In my case, it was, I'm working way too many hours and I volunteer. I should at least be paid for this. So I dropped into, yeah.
About this volunteer work, right? Whether it's truly, yeah, of course we do it for ourselves, of course. But the thing is with volunteer work, it's an intrinsic reward.
What does intrinsic mean?
That you get it the moment you do it, it's internal. It's not like the company has to offer you anything. Just doing it gives you the reward on the inside. So yes, there's always a feedback that you have. So I always use this reptile on the rock. So yes, for the reptile to actually do anything, it needs a big juicy bug flying around before it will go like yes. So on that stage, for me to go and like do some volunteer work, it's a juicy bug because it correlates with my inner values. I want this in the world, therefore there's an intrinsic reward for me to participate in that. The company that I help or the organization, they don't have to pay me. That would be an external reward, right? I do it because it makes me happy. So of course there's the checks and balances internal, and that's fulfilled. So I have had this discussion many times with, this whole thing about people do it for something. Of course they do. But it's internal.
Yeah, it's like coffee talks.
Yeah.
It's free.
It is free and it's internal. Most people that come, they get something out of it.
And I know you host many more than I do, but I love it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think it would be cool if I got paid actually.
Probably not.
No, because then it would be like, oh yeah, I have to go.
I have to go
It's
to that
work
thing.
then.
Yeah.
I go because it has a huge intrinsic value for me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Is to find what pushes me in a way that I will make.
It doesn't push you. This is the cool thing. It draws you.
Yeah.
So,
But it's like a fly, right? You see it and you just go there, and you know that's your.
But your problem is to find which fly you want, right?
Yeah. But this is everyone's. I was
fly.
just lucky that it flew by.
Yeah, you literally just like. So the third stage. Did you guys understand growing out of the second stage? Like the basic, I've now mastered eating, food, health, to the point where I don't even need to think about it. It's just such a part of me. It's not even something I think about. It's not a choice. It's just I eat healthy because I feel good, full stop. I don't comfort eat. I don't blah, blah, blah. I just do it. Now what? I can only keep improving so much before something else needs to happen. And so the example I gave with the relationship is because it's a bit easier than with food. I'm in this great relationship. It's loving, I'm happy, feel safe, comfortable, it's great. Something's still missing. So now I have two options, probably more, but for the sake of the stages, I can change my relationship. I don't know if I could stay, so I don't want to say this is an option, but I don't know if I could stay in the relationship. If something's missing and the moment you identify that, staying in a relationship or staying in a situation that doesn't feel great can eventually turn into resentment. Right?
Yeah.
So that's not an option. So the second option actually becomes, it doesn't matter that in my case he can't give more than he does. I can. Something's missing? Okay. It's not missing out here then. It's missing in here. Okay, my relationship is great. I'm with a great person who loves me, who treats me well, who respects me. I could find somebody else, but that would only be a period of time until either it didn't work out or I got to the same spot. So now, my option is just to give fully. Give, give, give. It's basically like living in this constant love debt. You can't give enough. And it's not about getting anything in return. It becomes the approach to life that I'm never gonna get what I give. I'm never gonna get as much as I give. So that philosophy from the first stage of what do I need to give so that I can get is flipped. I get that intrinsic reward from volunteering, but volunteering is never gonna give me back the amount of time, effort, energy I put into it. I just give and I give and I give and I give, and I'm never gonna get in return. Kind of like Jesus or Buddha or,
So in certain areas of my life, I have reached that point. Not in all, for sure. But for example, relationships.
Mm-hmm.
I only go into relationships thinking it's going to be painful, it's going to be messy, but I'll still do it. So that came out wrong.
Yeah, but I get what you mean.
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy,
No,
but I'm up for it
aware.
anyway.
So I go in with the mindset that I'm just going to be the one I want to be. I don't want to get into these petty talks. And it just, I'm in it because I want to enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm also much quicker to just dismiss being in, like I would not just sit there with people anymore. You're absolutely right. As soon as you identify the tiniest seed that, this is not it. You need to split.
Yeah, because then that grows into resentment,
Yeah,
and that But some of us might be lucky enough to reach this point of meeting someone or being in a job where it's good. They treat me well, I agree with the values, I like it here, I like my colleagues, it's good. I'm probably done growing professionally. There's not much more I can do. I've achieved externally what I can achieve. What do I do now? Do I change jobs? Some people do, and that's totally okay. There's no right or wrong here. But some people change jobs because they want that new challenge or they want something else, or there's the hope that maybe. But other people, they might say, okay, I'm done. Right? It's the time and it's the space, it's the external world. Some people might say, you know what, I'm done looking for it out here. Because it'll be a different guy, he'll look different, he'll talk different, but it'll still be the same ultimate experience. It'll be a different job, different colleagues, different walls around me, but it'll be the same end that I experience anyway. What was I going to say? Oh, depth. And so now, rather than trying to grow out here, because the second and the first and the second stage are much more out here, some me, some you, me, it's out here. The third stage becomes, now I go inward. How do I go inward, deeper and deeper into myself? Deeper and deeper and deeper. How do I give more and more and more of myself? Because it's no longer about me and my needs as such. It's no longer about getting something. It's no longer about this balance, because I'm never going to get as much love as I give anyway.